Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to unpack complex topics, pull out those really useful nuggets of wisdom, basically giving you a shortcut to being genuinely well-informed.
That's the goal.
So today, we're diving into something a bit different, a collection of personal insights. It's called 43 Life Lessons, Wisdom I Wish I Knew Sooner, and it's from the YouTube channel Take Him Financial Tortoise. I think it's a great chance to kind of soak up some hard-earned wisdom, maybe find those aha moments, and maybe speed up your own learning curve a bit. Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah, and what's fascinating here is how universal some of these deeply personal lessons turn out to be, offering a shortcut to wisdom for all of us. Our goal isn't just to list them, but to really dig into the core themes, find those actionable bits that you can actually use. Think of it like, getting advice from a mentor you haven't met yet.
Right. So let's kick things off with some foundational principles for living a good life. The very first lesson hits hard. It quotes Leonardo da Vinci. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication.
Ah, yes, a classic.
It really is. And it's so easy to think more is better, isn't it? More stuff, more investments, more everything. But the source argues we often add more because it's actually, easier than doing the work of simplifying, of curating.
Easier than discernment.
Exactly. It says we should fight for simplicity and that it leads to greater progress and less hassle. But how do you even start that fight? The world pushes complexity.
That's a really profound question, actually, and it gets right to it. This raises an important question. Are we truly seeking improvement or just avoiding the hard work of discernment and focus? The sophistication isn't just in having less, it's in the intentional act of stripping away what doesn't add core value. It's recognizing that letting go often creates more space, more freedom than adding more ever could.
That makes sense. And that desire for simplicity flows right into lesson 2. Ruthlessly seek clarity. The source uses that great Mark Twain quote, I apologize for the length of this letter. If I had more time, it would have been shorter.
Right. Perfect.
It just nails how much harder it is to be clear and concise. We live in this world just overflowing with noise, right? And this lesson says progress comes from doing less and seeking clarity. It pushes us to keep asking, what am I trying to do here? What am I trying to say? What is it that I want? But when you're just caught up in everything, how do you make space for that?
Yeah, that's the challenge.
Yeah.
Because clarity isn't something that just happens, you have to actively pursue it. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, clarity isn't just about understanding things in your head, it's about enabling truly effective action and living intentionally. In this flood of information we're all in, being able to distill things down, to focus, that stops you from just, rambling along without a clear direction. It's foundational. And sometimes the first step is just pausing, just for a second, to ask those questions.
And speaking of direction, lessons 3 and 4 tackle these huge ideas. Purpose is built, not found, and true confidence is action.
Oh, these are powerful.
They really are. The source kind of pushes back against this popular idea of finding your purpose like it's some hidden treasure hunt.
Right, like it's waiting somewhere.
Exactly. Instead, it says purpose is built through focus, hard work, and sweat. And for anyone feeling stuck, kind of in limbo, the advice is super direct. Start by acting.
Yeah.
And that connects straight to confidence. It makes this amazing point that both cowards and heroes all feel the same emotion. Fear, presumably.
Fear, doubt.
Right. But the difference is what they do regardless of those feelings. So confidence isn't a mood you wait for. It is defined by action, doing things even when we're scared or feel like we'll fail. So, okay, if someone feels stuck, where do they even begin that acting part? How small can it be?
Well, what's fascinating here is how tightly purpose and confidence are woven together through the powerful thread of consistent action. It really reinforces that purpose isn't some place you arrive at. It's the path you make by walking it. Deliberate effort. So for someone feeling stuck, the source implies you start with any small conscious step. Doesn't matter how tiny it feels. It's the consistency, the act of moving forward despite the fear that builds both purpose and the confidence to take the next step. You literally forge the path by walking it.
That's a great way to put it. Okay, next up, lessons 5 and 7, they get into wisdom itself. Lesson 5. True wisdom is defined by good decisions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it points out that big differences in life outcomes, like, say, net worth, often come down to what they chose to work on and how they worked on it. It's all about decisions. So the advice is pause, think, reflect, make the best decision for yourself.
Makes sense.
Then lesson 7 throws in this paradox. The older you get, the less you know. It captures that youthful confidence, when you think you've got it all figured out.
Oh, I remember that.
Right. And then later you realize, like Socrates said, the only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. So how does admitting you know less actually help you make better decisions? Seems backwards.
It does seem backwards, doesn't it? But this raises an important question. How does embracing humility about what we don't know actually empower us to make better, more adaptive choices? The insight here is that recognizing your limits, that ongoing realization of knowing less, well, that's actually key for making truly wise choices. It keeps you learning, keeps you open to new info, makes you willing to adjust. You understand wisdom isn't a destination like having all the answers. It's a process. It frees you from needing to be right all the time.
And speaking of wise decisions, there's a really practical angle here tied to lesson 7, protecting your information online.
Oh, definitely relevant today.
Very. The source points out this pretty scary fact that right now, you and I can go to any data broker's website right now and buy anyone's data for a few dollars, and it's legal.
It's shocking, but true.
And then there's data breaches, right? Poor security at companies means our info ends up on the dark web, sold to spammers, scammers, identity thieves, and they face zero repercussion. So, given this reality, what wise, proactive steps can people actually take?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, proactive digital self-defense is as crucial for personal well-being today as physical safety was in previous eras. It really is. The source mentions services that tackle this directly. They find these data brokers holding your info and send opt-out requests for you. They monitor the dark web, constantly alert you if your info shows up, watch for weird activity on bank accounts or credit reports, and some even offer identity theft insurance. Plus things like VPNs with loads of virtual locations. It's about taking control, making informed choices to protect yourself in this digital world instead of just, hoping for the best.
Right, being proactive. Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Happiness, we all chase it, right? But lesson 6 is kind of provocative. Happiness is overrated. Seek progress and contribution.
That one always gets attention.
Yeah. The source challenges chasing pure happiness. It points out the irony that most often, those that spend all their energy trying to find happiness are the ones that are most depressed of all. Ouch.
Yeah.
It says happiness isn't the goal, it's a byproduct of moving forward, of building something useful, of contributing something valuable. I can hear people thinking, wait, isn't being happy the whole point?
Yeah.
How do you square that?
That's a totally fair question. And the source isn't saying happiness is bad, not at all. What's fascinating here is the reframing of happiness from a fleeting emotional state to a natural consequence of meaningful action and growth. It's not that happiness is overrated, maybe the direct pursuit of it is. Chasing that feeling can actually create anxiety. This lesson shifts the focus to something more solid, making progress, contributing. Deep fulfillment, that lasting sense of well-being, often comes from effort, from mastering something, from making a difference, rather than just trying to feel good in the moment. Contribution creates meaning, and meaning fosters a deeper happiness.
Okay, that reframing makes a lot of sense. Let's move into relationships and communication. Lessons 15 and 16 are about listening. Absorb before you react.
Crucial.
Totally. I can relate to the source's story about being younger, insecure, talking over people, just not really listening. But wisdom, it says, is knowing when you talk, you're only repeating what you already know, but if you listen, you may learn something new.
So true.
It stresses seek first to understand. Interrupting often happens because we think we know what someone's going to say. The key is making them feel heard, showing real interest. I love this quote. Wisdom is a reward you get for a lifetime of listening when you would have rather talked. Beyond just learning facts, what does that deep listening really do for a relationship?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, this isn't just about politeness or waiting your turn. It's about effective empathy and truly gathering information to build connection. Genuine listening, it's absolutely foundational. Personal, professional, doesn't matter. It builds trust, it leads to real understanding, and it cuts down massively on misunderstandings. When you truly listen, you're getting the words, sure, but also the perspective, the emotion, the context. It changes the whole interaction.
Right. But listening doesn't mean being silent. Lessons 17 and 18 make that clear. Don't be afraid to speak up, but raise your words, not your voice.
Important distinction.
Yeah. It says everyone's thoughts and opinions matter, no matter their age or position. Then it talks about growing up watching movies, too much testosterone, where yelling meant strength.
Right, the shouting match.
Exactly. But real strength, it says, comes from figures like Martin Luther King Jr., Gandhi, Lincoln. It highlights the power of well-chosen words delivered with purpose and dignity. Love the analogy. It is rain that grows flowers, not thunder. So what's the real difference between just speaking up and actually raising your words?
What's fascinating here is the distinction between making noise and making a lasting, meaningful impact through the precision of your message. Calm, thought-out ideas just carry more weight, more influence than yelling or aggression.
Yeah.
It's about the content and the delivery, not the volume. Strategic influence versus just, impulsive noise.
And those figures, MLK, Gandhi, they lead us right into lesson 19, emotional regulation, the most powerful life skill.
Absolutely key.
The source hints they probably felt like lashing out sometimes, but they mastered their emotions, controlled their decisions, their future. And this connects directly to lesson 20, clear communication, the ultimate cheat code. It asks why some people seem to get ahead faster, better jobs, salaries, relationships. The answer, communication skills. The world rewards those who can explain their ideas simply, confidently, and persuasively. So why are these two things, emotional control and clear communication, so linked? Why are they like a cheat code?
This raises an important question. How much of our personal and professional potential is unlocked simply by mastering these two interconnected and often underestimated abilities? Emotional control is really a prerequisite for clear, persuasive communication. Think about it. If you're emotionally agitated, your message gets distorted, right? It might even backfire. Effective communication isn't just about being smart. It's about conveying that intelligence effectively, with impact. And that ability is hugely affected by whether you can manage your own emotional state first. It allows for thoughtful response instead of just reaction.
Okay, now, for tricky situations, lesson 21 offers this really interesting technique. Imagine people as small children.
Ah, yes. That one's memorable.
It is. It suggests picturing the other person as they once were, innocent. This apparently force opens up our empathy muscles, reminds us everyone's shaped by their past, their struggles. And this flows into lesson 22. Choose being kind over being right. Even when you know you're right in an argument, it asks, is winning worth damaging the relationship? It pushes for a win-win, but that urge to be right is strong for a lot of us. What's the real long-term benefit of prioritizing kindness?
Well, what's fascinating here is the insight that truly effective human interaction often prioritizes connection and mutual respect over simple factual victory. The impact of empathy and kindness, it's huge for building real connection. Letting go of that need to win the argument, choosing the relationship instead, often brings much bigger rewards down the line. Stronger bonds. It's about building bridges, not winning battles, even when you technically could.
Building bridges, I like that. And speaking of crucial relationships, lesson 23 is about marriage. Looks fade, humor lasts, who you marry.
Big one.
Huge. The source really hammers home how much your life partner affects everything. Happiness, stress, money, even health. Choose wisely. It points out that looks, like an amazing hairline, well, will all be gone eventually. What's left? Corny jokes. So make sure those corny jokes are enough for you. It's funny but profound. Beyond humor, what other deep qualities really matter for the long haul?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, this lesson speaks to the wisdom of foresight and prioritizing fundamental compatibility in life's most significant choices. Absolutely, humor is important. But beyond that, you need shared values, resilience, kindness, a similar vision for life. That initial spark, it's great, but it fades. Enduring qualities, character, how they handle challenges, their capacity to grow with you. Those are the things that build lasting happiness in a partnership. It's looking beyond the snapshot to the whole movie.
The whole movie. Okay, let's switch to financial well-being. Practical stuff. Lessons 8 and 9 tackle the economy. Lesson 8, the economy will always be uncertain.
True enough.
Right. It says no one will ever say or believe that the economy is stable or certain. Just accept it and move on. It warns against panic from news headlines. Everybody will always say the world is falling apart because that attracts attention and sells news. The key. Wealth is built by those who invest anyways. Consistency.
Then lesson 9 compares the stock market to a roller coaster. Lots of ups and downs. The advice, don't jump off mid-ride. Stick with it for that potential annual average return of approximately 10% over the past 100 years. Okay, but for someone hearing constant doom and gloom, how do they actually build that mental strength to invest anyways? What's fascinating here is the psychological discipline required to act on known financial principles amidst the constant noise and volatility of the economic cycle. These lessons stress resilience, right? A long-term view over reacting to scary headlines or market dips. consistent, disciplined investing, regardless of the current economic weather. You have to internalize that headlines are built for clicks, for emotion, not necessarily for guiding your calm, long-term strategy. It takes practice.
Practice and discipline, got it. Then lesson 10 takes aim at a popular idea. Passive income is never truly passive.
Oh yeah, the holy grail.
Exactly. It's thrown around the personal finance investing world like it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, often by people selling expensive courses on some passive income machine.
Seen those?
The source says it's usually BS. If someone says otherwise, they're selling you something, call their BS and move on. Straightforward. So what is the reality? What kind of effort is usually involved?
Well, this raises an important question. What hidden efforts, risks, or ongoing management are often overlooked in the enticing pursuit of easy money? The lesson clarifies that pretty much any income stream requires some kind of effort, time, or significant upfront investment, even if it's marketed as passive. You need critical thinking here, some skepticism about those get-rich-easy promises, like rental properties. Yeah, the rent check feels passive, but finding the property, fixing it up, managing tenants, that's work. Or risk.
Right. There's always something. Okay, lessons 11, 12, and 13 form this really interesting cluster. Things are really not that important, seek control before more, and debt is junk food.
A powerful combo.
Lesson 11 says let go of stuff. Nice house, nice car, nice clothes, because the things you own end up owning you. Then 12 talks about financial stress. It's often not about lack of money, but lack of control. So gain control first, spend less than you earn, live below your means, get friendly with budgeting, the dreaded B word.
The B word.
And finally, 13 compares debt to junk food. Looks good, tastes good at first, but weighs you down, affects everything, makes life harder. Calls it slavery of the free. Wow, that paints a picture. What's the single most powerful first step to get back control?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, these lessons aren't just about managing money. They're about reclaiming agency and power over your financial future. They create this framework for real financial peace, shifting focus from just getting more money to getting control. And that first step, it really seems to be what the source says. Spend less than you earn. Get that budget going. Know where your money is actually going. That act of consciously directing your finances, instead of being directed by them, that's where the control and the stress relief begins.
Consciously directing. Okay, now lesson 14 flips the script entirely. Your greatest financial asset is yourself.
Love this one.
It challenges the usual lists: stocks, bonds, crypto. Nope. The greatest financial asset that you own is none of these. It is you. Why? Because those other things can all go to zero tomorrow, but you. You always have your brain, your ingenuity, and your work ethic.
Your human capital.
Exactly. So invest in yourself. Keep learning, keep growing. It promises this will provide better returns than all these assets combined. That's a big claim. How does investing in yourself actually yield better returns?
Well, what's fascinating here is the profound shift in perspective from relying solely on external assets to recognizing and cultivating the inherent and limitless value within yourself. Think about it practically. Every new skill you learn, every problem you figure out how to solve, every relationship you build that's an investment in you, it directly boosts your earning power, your ability to adapt when jobs change, your potential to start something new.
Yeah.
Your brain doesn't crash like the market can. These returns, they compound over your whole life. They're uniquely yours, and they're incredibly resilient. It's the ultimate long-term investment.
The ultimate investment. Okay, shifting to time, productivity, growth. Lessons 24 and 25 are blunt. Time is your most valuable currency, and it is not more time, it is fewer distractions.
Hits home for many, I suspect.
For sure. Every hour of time that you spend today is an hour you'll never see again. Use it wisely. You may delay, but time will not. Then it challenges that feeling of never having enough time. The brutal truth, time is not the problem. It is actually you.
Oof. Correct.
Very. The solution.
Yeah.
Fewer distractions. So if the problem isn't time, but us and our distractions, how do we manage ourselves better?
Yeah, that reframing is key. This raises an important question. How much of what we label as time management is actually at its core distraction management? It ties time's value directly to focus, to intention.
Yeah.
Distractions just dilute our efforts, scatter our focus, and make our time feel less valuable, less effective. So managing ourselves means being fiercely protective of our attention. That could mean, killing notifications, scheduling deep work blocks, maybe even having tech-free periods. Deliberately choosing what gets your focus.
Fewer distractions, more focus. That leads into lessons 26, 27, and 28, a kind of productivity trio. 26. Do one thing at a time. Calls it the only time or productivity hack you need.
Simple but powerful.
Identify the most important thing you need to do right now and just do that one thing. It promises this slows down time, boosts productivity. Everything else is a distraction until that one thing's done. This connects to 27, consistency compounds. Small disciplines repeated with consistency every day lead to great achievements gained slowly over time.
It's a slow burn.
Exactly. And 28, true progress is unseen, reminds us real progress is not made on the stage, rather it is built on the quiet moments when no one is watching. Like athletes training alone, writers grinding out words daily. Okay, this sounds effective, but maybe slow. How do you stay motivated when the progress is unseen, not getting applause?
What's fascinating here is the idea that truly impactful change is often a slow, quiet accumulation, born from disciplined effort, rather than sudden dramatic bursts. These lessons give you a formula, really, for long-term achievement. It's about the power of those small, consistent steps taken privately when no one's looking. The motivation, I think, comes from understanding that compounding effect. Even if no one else sees it, you know each small effort is building towards something significant. Like, the roots growing strong underground before the tree shoots up. You trust the process.
Trust the process. Okay. Along those lines of focus, lessons 29 and 30 advise, learn to be in the present and allow yourself to be bored.
Countercultural these days.
Totally. It warns against dwelling on the past or stressing the future, because then we miss the most important moments of life, the present. Learn to just be here. But it acknowledges that being present can lead to boredom. And that boredom tempts us, right? To daydream, worry, or just grab our phone for a distraction fix.
The immediate impulse.
Exactly. But it urges us to allow the boredom. To simply wait and be bored has become a novel experience. But from the perspective of concentration training, it is incredibly valuable. This feels like swimming upstream. What are the real benefits of embracing presence, even boredom?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, cultivating presence and tolerating boredom are essential for deep work, genuine self-reflection, and unlocking inner resources. These practices, they actually boost creativity, lower anxiety, and help you understand yourself better just by cutting out the noise. Boredom isn't wasted time. It's often the fertile ground where new ideas sprout, where you solve problems subconsciously, where you really connect with yourself. It's giving your brain room to breathe, basically.
Room to breathe, I like that. And speaking of inner resources, lesson 31 is simple. Read.
The ultimate hack.
That's what the source calls it. The ultimate hack to propel your life forward faster than anyone else. A superpower. We live in this age of Alexandria, right? All knowledge is a fingertip away, but it notes, the means of learning are abundant. It is a desire to learn that is scarce. We have access, but maybe lack the drive. How do you build that desire, make reading a real habit today?
What's fascinating here is how simple, yet profoundly transformative this hack truly is in our modern information-rich era. Reading is just fundamental for growth, personal and intellectual. We have this incredible leverage now, access to almost anything. Building the desire. I think it often starts with just reading what you're genuinely curious about. Forget what you should read. Start with what you want to read. Once that spark catches, the habit often follows because you start feeling the benefits, new ideas, broader perspective.
Start with curiosity.
Okay.
Next cluster, lessons 32, 33, 34. These flip our view on problems. Problems are the greatest teachers. Big problems equals big paycheck, and everything is figure-outable.
Mindset shift.
Huge. We naturally avoid problems, right? Headaches, stress, but 32 argues we learn and grow the most from solving our biggest problems. And 33 adds, it's not just growth, there's often money in it too. The bigger the problem you solve, the bigger the paycheck. Then 34 lands with this powerful belief. Everything is figure-outable. We're far more capable than you realize, just need some time, some additional resources, and a bit of pain winding up your brain's CPU. Okay, that sounds great, but when you're drowning in a problem, how do you actually adopt that figure-outable mindset?
That's the core challenge, isn't it? The emotional weight of problems. This raises an important question. How can we reframe our natural inclination to fear problems into an eager excitement for growth, learning, and innovative solutions? These lessons urge us to see problems not as roadblocks, but as opportunities for growth, for learning, even financially. That figure-outable mindset isn't about pretending it's easy. It's about shifting from, I can't handle this, to, okay, how can I handle this? Breaking it down, finding resources, trusting your ability to learn and adapt, even if it takes a bit of pain winding up your brain CPU. It's about focusing on solutions, not the obstacle itself.
Focus on solutions. Right. Now let's cover health and self-care. Lesson 35 is bold. Sleep is the ultimate performance enhancer.
Non-negotiable.
It says sleep beats drugs or coffee for brain function, period. Lack of sleep turns even the smartest person into a walking disaster. But someone well-rested, they solve big problems, regulates their emotions well, and actually remembers where they put their keys.
Huh.
Totally. But for so many, sleep feels like a luxury, not step one for performance. Why is it so utterly fundamental?
What's fascinating here is how fundamentally sleep underlies almost every other area of human performance and effective functioning. It's not just about feeling awake, it's deep biology. We need adequate sleep for, well, everything. Thinking clearly, managing emotions, repairing the body, consolidating memories. Without enough sleep, decision-making tanks, emotional control evaporates, physical health declines. It's the bedrock. Trying to perform well without sleep is like, I don't know, trying to run a marathon on an empty tank. You just can't.
Empty tank, got it. Then, lessons 36 and 37 offer really simple advice. Drink water, and walking is the most underrated high-performance sport. Right. Feeling stressed or tired for no reason. Half of your problems are just dehydration in disguise. Simple fix. Drink water. And walking. It's called an underrated high-performance sport. Cite Steve Jobs, Aristotle famous walkers. Nothing gets the brain going like putting one foot in front of the other. Okay, these sound too simple. How do basic things like water and walking have such a big impact?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, these small, accessible habits, when prioritized, contribute significantly to daily well-being and peak functionality. They're powerful because they're basic physiological needs. We underestimate how much even mild dehydration affects focus and energy. And walking, it's low impact, yes, but it gets blood flowing to the brain, clears your head, and offers this unique space for thinking, for problem solving, just like those historical figures knew. They're not flashy, but consistently doing them. Big returns on how you feel and perform daily.
Okay, big returns from small habits. Lessons 38, 39, and 40 focus on food and taking care of our bodies. Eat for the future, not just for the moment. Read the label. Marketing lies your body pays, and you have just one body for life.
Crucial stuff, long-term perspective.
Yeah, it stresses not all foods are equal. Good food nourishes, bad food slowly chipping away your body. Treat your body like a high-performance machine from early on. Compares whole foods to premium gas and junk food to pouring sugar into the tank.
Vivid analogy.
It is. It also calls out food marketing low-fat, heart-healthy, natural, often less about nutrition and more about persuasion. The advice: read the ingredients, not the buzzwords. And finally, the reminder: our bodies are not like a car. We can't just take it in and swap it for a new model. Every bad choice, sleepless nights, junk food, skipped workouts, adds up over time. Okay, intellectually this makes sense, but practically, what's one simple shift someone could make this week to start treating their body better?
This raises an important question. How can we cultivate a proactive, informed mindset about our physical health, rather than a reactive one that waits for problems to emerge? These lessons really argue for long-term stewardship of our health. They expose deceptive marketing and stress the cumulative effect of our choices. For one shift, that point about read the label is huge. Just making the choice to look at the actual ingredients before you look at the flashy claims on the front. That alone can create a massive awareness shift. It empowers you to make a slightly better choice, maybe swap one ultra-processed thing for something simpler. That's a start.
Read the ingredients first. Okay, last section. Self-reliance and perspective. Lessons 41 and 42. No one cares about you, and no one is coming to save you.
Whoa, sounds harsh.
It does, but there's nuance. No one cares means people in general, not your loved ones. The older you get, the more you realize how little other people think about you. So stop worrying about what others think. They're too busy worrying about themselves.
A freeing thought, actually.
It really is. And it connects to no one is coming to save you. It's not other people's responsibility to support your aspirations or your dreams. Accept it fully and take action. Okay, these sound blunt, but liberating. What's the real freedom in accepting these truths?
What's fascinating here is the paradox that understanding others' self-focus can actually free us to more powerfully focus on our own growth and purpose. It's not cynical. It's a call to radical self-reliance, freedom from needing external approval. The empowerment that comes from truly owning your path, your responsibilities, it's immense. It frees you from waiting for permission, waiting for rescue. You shift energy from worrying about what others think to actually doing things. It leads to a more authentic, more powerful way of living.
Radical self-reliance, okay. And the final lesson, 43, offers perspective on critics. The best revenge is living well.
Ah, a classic piece of wisdom.
It addresses that urge for revenge against doubters, critics. While it is easy to slip into a desire to seek revenge, the source says the best revenge is just living well, unequivocally. You live your best life, and that is the sweetest revenge of all. It's such a simple redirection of energy. How does living well actually silence critics better than arguing?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, this isn't about ignoring critics or seeking validation. It's about channeling that energy into building a life that truly speaks for itself. And in doing so, creating your own profound victory. This lesson taps into real resilience, self-mastery. Focusing on your own growth, your well-being, your flourishing, it transforms that negative energy into positive creation. Your success, your peace, your happiness become the undeniable response. It makes criticism irrelevant. It's an internal win that radiates outward.
Wow, what a journey through these 43 lessons. It really demonstrates how much practical wisdom can be packed into personal reflections. This deep dive definitely feels like a shortcut to gaining some valuable perspective. So after absorbing all of that, what does this all mean for you, the listener?
That's the real question. Considering all these lessons from the deep value of simplicity right through to the power of self-reliance, here's something to think about. What is one single habit or perspective you could simplify, clarify, or maybe just start acting on in your life, starting this week, to begin building that kind of progress that truly compounds over time?